Okay, I know this is dark, and I don't normally make a video when it's this dark, but after I got done making my last video, and I wrote the comments about the potatoes being a symbol of the universe, really all life forms are, including yourself. And when I made those comments, I was kind of being humorous about it, but it's serious. Like, you symbolize the universe. But after I got done making those comments, I was like, this is the craziest stuff. When people read this, they're just going to be like, what the fuck? But it's true. A potato is a symbol of the universe. The eyes are like black holes. Like everything in the entire universe is like that. And so if you want to like find out where you're going to find your next discovery in science, you just look at the symbols and order them in your head, and it'll tell you. Oh, there's a little light. Someone's come by. That's cool. But anyway, the point of this video is that I felt so much fear to say those things because I thought people aren't going to see what I see. They're going to think I'm crazy. But I have enough rationale behind it, and I have actually organized all of the symbols that I can think of. Like, I just go and find one, and I'm able to organize it and tell you what it means. I talked a little bit about trees, but obviously I didn't say the rest of the trees. Sometimes I assume you know what I'm talking about. So I just want to make sure you know that the tree is a symbol of the universe too. Like that's how we know things are like organisms, because they symbolize the universe in some way. It's like the ants symbolize part of our nature, and we can see by looking at ants what's important in us. Like I was saying about reading all the stories, or thinking your thoughts as they evolve in a lifetime as you read stories, or like Joseph Campbell read the stories and made those things, or Carl Jung looked at symbols and said there's archetypes, or like my friend Jordan Peterson, and he talks about maps of meaning. We had a huge synchronicity. That's how I met him like 20 years ago. It's like so synchronistic. I have a picture of me standing there with him in front of his poster when nobody knew him. And it was just like, you can see clearly the synchronicity on my shirt and on his poster. That's why I walked up. I made a little joke comment about my shirt. But the reason I'm making this video is because tonight, after I got done facing the fear and doing it anyway, I'm going to put sunlight on. Here we go. I faced my fears about what people would think about those things. I'll let my hair down a little bit because this looks kind of dumb. There we go. I really do like my hair now. It's cool. So I faced the fear. I did it anyway. I said the things. I gave you a couple of ideas of what is meaningful and important, like the human eye. Yeah. It's of cosmic significance. Like literally cosmic beings, or anything that knew the meanings of the universe, would understand the human eye and what we symbolize and the hierarchy of meaning. I didn't finish about the tree because of the it seemed obvious, but because the tree is used so many times and for so many symbolic reasons, and they're all valid, but on a different level, the logos echo level things. But they grow towards the sky, the sun, the realm of the sun. So they're growing towards the sun. And then as we discover more and more about them, it gets more beautiful as we understand that their leaves have photosynthesis, which we now know uses relativistic effects, which is kind of cool. But they grow towards the sun, which is like the source of life and meaning, so to speak, and warmth on Earth. It's like drives all the weather and everything. So the weather would be another symbol of the chaotic evolution of things, is driven by this great symbol of meaning. You know what I mean? So it also underlines what I'm saying about evolution. So the way that these things interlock with their meaning shows you about other things. So that's how you know what truth is, because there's a lot of ways to know truth. You go through a lot of things and there's a commonality, a common theme. Then you get evidence for things. You can tell you truth, like proximal truths. But really the big truths, like the periodic table of the elements, combining the information from thousands of studies, maybe tens, hundreds, millions, who knows, of studies on substances, we will be able to organize it into a periodic table, and that stops all contention and deception on the nature of the vocabulary, the alphabet of molecules and things. So what I'm trying to say is that when you get something that's internally consistent and makes sense together in only one way, there's not another way to really put everything together in the periodic table that makes any sense, then you know you have truth. So that's another way to know you have truth. So there's really two ways: the scientific method, and then there's also the combining things so that there is no room for error or doubt in the arena that you're combining the knowledge in. So you can reinterpret things if you find something outside of it, which is kind of what I'm doing. I'm finding something outside the realm of all the basic sciences that kind of ties them together and uses their information into a more meaningful whole. So every researcher that worked on any substance that before the periodic table, their information was totally valid, but it just was part of this higher meaning pattern to things. So to kind of illustrate how synchronicity can tell you things is like right after I got done doing this, telling you about these symbols, about the eye, which is an orb and has like in some people a blue circle, a black circle, and then this big white one behind it. And humans are like the only ape that shows the white of the eye, which is significant. It also says something. But all of these things are telling us who we are and what's meaningful. And until we became people that didn't think that there were just like a curtain with holes in it for stars, but we actually knew what space was and could imagine a perspective out in space, we wouldn't understand the eye. So it's like aliens would understand the eye if they were coming to the earth, and then they came to earth and saw our eyes. They'd be like, whoa, know what that means. Aliens that were advanced enough to understand these things. And I always felt like an alien when I was younger, but I'm telling you right now that I still do. And it's not just feeling like I don't fit in or alienated or something. Like maybe, somehow I got a wormhole connection in my brain to the universe of thinking or something. I don't know. Akashic records. There we go. But the whole reason I'm making this video is this really cool synchronicity happened right after I got done with that video. Then it got dark because that was like at 4 or 5 or whatever. Now it's like 7. And I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Screw it. I was trying to do this keto diet thing lately again. And I've done it before, but I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to drive to my favorite restaurant, which is Everest Cuisine over here, right by the old Google headquarters. So I turned around on Google and then went over to the Everest Cuisine. It's right there if you want to know where it is. Right by that old thing, it's Everest Cuisine, and I think this is Mountainview. You need to go there because they have super good food, and they're super nice. They're like the nicest people in the world. Here's what happened. I walk in the door after driving there crying because I just felt like finally I was able to truly be myself. I opened my mouth and spoke the words I wanted to speak my whole life. Like I felt like my whole life led up to this last video and the comments I made on that video. And I just started crying. That's why I've got this pin with the eye, by the way. I just saw it in the video monitor. Sorry. Because it's a symbol. Very good symbol. So I'm driving there crying about this and I'll get my journey, my love journey. And I felt like a connection with God and like all life to the point that it was absolute ecstasy. I can't even describe it. And then I was thinking, and then it was like, I got a question. I was like, was it worth it? Like all the pain that I've gone through in my life? And it was like a rhetorical question. I felt the ecstasy of ages in my bones. I felt connection with the Creator. And that's the only thing I wanted to ever feel in my life. And it happened. It's happened before, fleeting ways here and there. It's been kind of a theme that's pushed me to be interested in everything, really. I love everything. I can say things that are very sappy right now. I'll probably start crying, so I better not, but I just love everything. It's so fucking beautiful. It's like unbelievable. And it's so painful to be around people that don't see it, because they just get into my head. I just it hurts. So I went to Everest Cuisine. I'm trying to tell you this story about the synchronicity. I walk in there and I was thinking, such a small thing I did and produced such ecstasy. I walk in the door to get my favorite stuff. Is this rice pudding. It's so freaking good. Oh my God. I drive around and think about it sometimes, and I'm like, no, I gotta be good for keto. And I was like, you know what? You spoke your mind. You said what you wanted despite being afraid of repercussions. You're gonna go get some of that rice pudding that you love. So I did. And I walk in there and I was just talking to the guy. I was like, I'm just chatting, because I love this place. Like last time everybody in there is so nice. And I was like, I just came to get the rice pudding and nothing else to eat or anything, just like this rice pudding. And so I'm driving around thinking about it. And he goes and gets it. And I'm sitting there looking at this board. It's like a blackboard, and it has like writing on it that's glows in the dark, and it has like a changing color light behind it. So the writing, like rainbow, it comes on and off like that in a rainbow colors. All the writing. I was like, oh my God, I love that board. I want one of those so bad. So I'm just there staring at it, and he comes walking out from the back with a bag and has the rice pudding in it. I got my card. I actually have my credit card out because I got my stimulus check. I can eat now. That's the only reason I went there. I was like, shit, I got a stimulus, I can eat, because I've been like some days not being able to eat, but I do have MCT oil. So keto, it's a good time to do keto when you can't eat. So I brought in my card, and I was like, and I just went to hand it to him, and he goes, nah, don't worry about it. He said, it's not about the money. Sometimes it's the small things that make you happy. And I was just like, I love you. Literally, I love you so much right now. And I'm just started crying again when I left the place, because that's what they say is with this manifestation stuff and everything. If you do what's really in your heart, what's really in you, and you just, in spite of the fear, maybe you got PTSD like I did from a lifetime of people thinking I was crazy or weird if I opened my mouth and just not fitting in, And if you do it, you feel in your heart, regardless, and you do it with love, then things start happening. That's all I wanted to say, is that meaning is powerful. Very, very powerful. It's what drives everything. So when you know the meaning of the symbols, you help people with meaning. That is the power of the universe. That's literally what drives everything. It is the engine, the torus of fusion of disparate elements that bring the meaning of God to earth. And that's exactly what I think. Thanks.